the Breaking Barriers Initiative documents. I got it correct, yes. Breaking Barriers Initiative document is the relationship between Professor Jonathan Moyo as well as also Emerson Mnangagwa. Now, we know that these have been sworn enemies. In fact, before the coup of 2017, and most probably post the coup of 2017. But one thing that Professor Jonathan Moyo has proven beyond reasonable doubt is that he has this manipulative ability and the capability to join hands with his former enemies and all of a sudden become lovey-dovey. He has been surviving through doing this. He has said a lot of nasty things about Emerson Mnangagwa, but which were true, that he is an electable. I mean, there is a lot that Professor Jonathan Moyo has put on the public domain, revealed secret information. But this same fellow is now working with Mnangagwa to do the wrong things. One thing about Professor Jonathan Moyo, he is always found where there are issues of political mischief. All the times, his name would be mentioned loud and clear. Greetings and welcome on your lovely channel, the Hlonipani Global News. If you are watching us for the very first time, please do remember to press the red or black subscribe button so that next time when we beam live, you become the very first one to watch us. The question is, through BBI, that is Breaking Barriers Initiative document, is Professor Jonathan Moyo revenging at Mnangagwa, or he is helping Mnangagwa? Only time will tell. I think there is high probability that this man is revenging to Emerson Mnangagwa. Remember, Mnangagwa was at the center of the Kukuraunde genocide, and the Kukuraunde genocide wiped the father of Professor Jonathan Moyo. Not only that, Mnangagwa threw under the bus Professor Jonathan Moyo during the popular Cholocho declaration. And not only that, they became enemies when Professor Jonathan Moyo bounced back to ZANU-PF. Professor Jonathan Moyo choosing to be part of the G40 while the other was part of the Lacoste during that particular time. It's quite interesting, and without wasting much of your time, let's continue from where we ended from yesterday. Maybe there will be part 3 because this document is long, but I'll try to cruise so fast. So now we are looking at the Breaking Barriers Initiative, page 7, where it specifically talks about the role of Parliament of Zimbabwe. Let me read. Given that in public policy or public affairs, the process of any definition of a problem or solution is everything, it is important and it is in fact necessary that the identification of the barrier of the scourge of disputed elections and its sub-barriers, as well as the solution to breaking the 5 barriers outlined in the foregoing, should be situated or done in and by Parliament, so as to give both the impression and the reality that it is the people through their Parliament who have identified and defined the problem, and who have proposed its comprehensive, detailed and lasting solution. They are bringing in people where people do not fit at all. This remains a document by Professor Jonathan Moyo and his partner. In other words, the problem definition and its proposed solution should not come from an individual or a political party or from any group for that matter, but it should come from the People's National Assembly and the Senate, the Parliament of Zimbabwe. It is paramount to plausibly show that it is the people who have identified and defined the problem. I mean, they are not people in this document. It is Professor Jonathan Moyo sitting somewhere in a corner in Kenya. And we have accordingly proposed its requisite solution. As such, all that the leader of the opposition in parliament, Honorable Sengezo Chabang, would need to do is to pose the question in order to expose the full extent and the full implications of the problem. So the name of Sengezo Chabang surfaces for the very first time in the document that has come up with Professor Jonathan Moyo, in the form of a special PP motion at a special joint sitting of the National Assembly and the Senate, as a way of facilitating the requisite solution of the problem through Parliament. The Constitutional Forum of and for the People, specifically the PP motion, will propose the sitting of a select committee of both houses of Parliament. You see, I think I highlighted about that. The leader of the opposition in Parliament, Honorable Senator Sengezo Chabang, who asked for the research and writing of the concept paper on which the project is based, and who has closely followed and guided its conceptualization and development, will lead the definition and presentation of the problem in the form of a special PP motion in Parliament on why the country's policy-making process finds itself arrested and derailed as it is in the main by the scourge of the toxic barrier of disputed elections and its other associated equally toxic barriers. The question that the leader of the opposition in Parliament will pose and expose is this: putting Zimbabwe first, why has it thus far been difficult and seemingly near impossible for Zimbabweans to come together or to work together with a common purpose after a general election? Now, these people are creating a notion that is not there, but something that is fundamentally important from what I have read. I just wanted to explain. So this document comes into the picture. They are masquerading it as a document that was proposed by Sengezo Chabang. So Emerson Mnangagwa is trying to defend himself, especially from retired General Chiwenga and others who may definitely question the source of this document. And in this regard, he will pretend as if he is not actually the reason why this proposal has come forward. And they say the reason why they are proposing this BBI, it is because political parties have failed to work together post-elections. Where have you ever seen an opposition political party as well as a ruling political party anywhere in the world working together? They don't work together. There may be issues of common interest which are negotiated, and the other part gives in, and the other part actually also does the same thing. That is working together politically. But this that they want to create, whereby there will be Mnangagwa and he would not be opposed by anyone, it is disastrous and it should not be accepted by the people of Zimbabwe. Let me go on. Now, parenthetically, the question and its answer are not about any individual group or political party, but about Zimbabwe and Zimbabweans, and that should be addressed accordingly. In the context of this project, thus far, Zimbabweans have found it difficult and seemingly near impossible to come together or to work together with a common purpose because of the 5 barriers outlined above in this document. We talked about them. You can look for part 1 of this particular similar video. With Senator, as long as it has BBI, so I'll be putting BBI instead of part and so forth. So with Senator Chabang as the mover of the BBI motion, it would be most useful for the chief whip of the majority governing party, Honorable Pupurai Tokarebi. So there is now Pupurai Tokarebi, who is the leader of the chief whip of ZANU-PF, to second the motion. The idea of having the leader of the opposition, Honorable Sengezo Chabang, to pose the question by moving the special BP motion in Parliament is to disabuse naysayers. Now you see, you use such words in a parliament, and the parliament distribute a statement with such words, naysayers, and the merchants of confusion, of the simplistic and misleading motion that the initiative is nefarious or is a partisan ZANU-PF agenda. I think it can be nothing less than that. Or let us put it this way, properly frame it. It is a partisan Emerson Mnangagwa agenda. Not anyone. It seeks. This BBI is about the bedroom of Mnangagwa. Not. It has nothing to do with the interest of the people of Zimbabwe. It has everything to do with safeguarding his children, as well as also his wife, looting the state coffers, and making sure that they continue to do so as long as they live. Yeah, you are right. Professor Jonathan Moyo and Mnangagwa, they are the same. They are villains. They don't care about anybody else. And maybe this is the psychological impact of losing his father through a Kukuraunde genocide. Some of these things have to be accessed. Someone, when faced with such, he becomes a rebel of societal expectations as well as norms. Because what is done by Professor Jonathan Moyo is out of this world. It is. I've seen he has supporters also who are idiots, by the way. There will always be idiots supporting another idiot. So let's look at the BBI Parliamentary Select Committee. You know, I'm reading this because people have to understand what exactly the Mnangagwa government is up to. I think if I reach 20 minutes, I'll stop this live broadcast. I don't love long videos. Now, the parliamentary process is designed to promote a broad-based national consensus, foster national ownership of the solution finding and solution making approach proposed in this document. The organogram below depicts the structure of the initiative in Parliament and how it will be organized. So at the top, there is the Parliament of Zimbabwe in the organogram, and then there is the CSRO, there is the PPEXCO, I don't know, I think they will explain it later on. There is also the BP Select Committee, and then there are other substructures for oral written submissions, Harare, Bulawayo, Manicaland, Mashonaland, Central, Mashonaland, East, Midlands, Matabeleland South, Matabeleland North, Masvingo. Now it says the management of the work of the BP Parliamentary Select Committee would be overseen by BP ESCO, co-chaired by the Speaker and the Attorney General. Okay. Attorney General being involved in the business of the Parliament. Is that legal, by the way? Because Attorney General is not elected by the people of Zimbabwe. He's an appointed civil servant. I wonder how he co-chairs. Co-chaired by the Speaker and the Attorney General, and comprising the two select committee co-chairpersons, the consultant and project leader, project security advisor, project legal advisor, and project team leader. You know, some people make money so simple, like Professor Jonathan Moyo. He sat down, he came up with the plan and understood that if he runs through Emerson Mnangagwa, this plan, definitely he will buy into it and pour a lot of money. Now, in the 280 member National Assembly, 46 MPs are government ministers, meaning 334 are not, whereas in the 80 member Senate, 6 MPs are government ministers, meaning 74 are not. Only those members of Parliament who are not part of the executive as government ministers will participate in the BBI parliamentary process. So it's quite clear what they're saying here. The BBI Parliamentary Select Committee will have 35 MPs as members, who will include its co-chairs, Honorable Sengezo Chabangu and Honorable Tokari Purai, Based on the formula that is applied by the Parliament of Zimbabwe to determine the ratios in the distribution of membership in the composition of committees of Parliament. First, National Assembly and Senator, and second, the two political parties represented in Parliament. Out of 35 members of the PP Parliamentary Select Committee, 27 will be from the National Assembly, 18 from ZANU, and 9 from CCC, while 8 would be from Senate, 4 from ZANU PF, and 4 from CCC. Okay. All of the 334 MPs in the National Assembly and the 74 senators who are members of the PP Parliamentary Select Committee will participate in the outreach and public hearing by the committee. The PP Select Committee will have 11 outreach teams comprising 3 members each. 10 of these teams will be mobile and will oversee and supervise provincial PP provincial outreach teams, each assigned to a designated province, and one outreach team would be static, based in Harare, and will oversee the oral and written submissions to the PP Parliamentary Select Committee. Public participation and attendance at the PP Select Parliamentary Committee's mobile outreach interface in the country's 10 provinces, and the one static oral and written submission outreach interface in Harare will require anyone interested in attending the outreach session to enroll in advance via an online app through which the attendees would be given participation tickets. Participants will stand a chance to win a range of prizes such as laptops, state-of-the-art smartphones, etc., and 11 lucky participants will stand a chance to win a Ford Ranger twin cab. So you can see that money, a lot of money would be used. 11 Range Rover vehicles that would be given to participants. And also take a look at this, the selection of the participants. They are saying there will be an application that would be used. It won't be open for all. So why are they doing so? Why are they putting that barrier for participants to be selected? They will be having an application. You apply. How many people can apply? Can a rural Makoko apply if he wants or if she wants to participate in this process? Anyway, I'm going into the details, not to say I have a buy-in into this nonsense. I don't have a buy-in, but we are exposing what is happening here in Zimbabwe at the moment. So, what is coming out sharply and clear? They want to determine who will come and who will not come. You will discover that through that application, they will only be allowing ZANU PF members. And this would be masqueraded or paraded as the people of Zimbabwe. I know that a lot, if today we were to say all opposition members of parliament be re-elected again, I'm telling you, they will lose dismally because they have disappointed the people of Zimbabwe. They have sold out. So this document, in fact, it is appearing as if it's a proposal. It's not a proposal. This is a plan. They have laid out a plan. MPs, it's a structure. So the motion of this PPI will actually, it's bringing in directly or through the back door the 2030 term extension of Emerson Mnangagwa. And through these processes they have put to pretend as if, this would embrace all the people in Zimbabwe. What they want to do at the end of the day, they want to give an impression that This is a program of action that was done, and it incorporated all the views of the people of Zimbabwe. They will use MPs of Sengezo Chabangu, senators of Sengezo Chabangu, and that to them will justify this notion that both opposition as well as ruling party MPs, they agree there was a consensus. You may see all parliamentarians voting for this nonsense of suspending elections. You may also equally see, I mean, obviously for ZANU-PF, I don't have to talk about that. Let me now read data template for 11 outreach interfaces. I'll stop very soon. A qualitative and quantitative research instruments and an AI data interpretation app would be designed to unpack and analyze outreach data to elicit solutions from the public on ways of breaking the 5 barriers to Zimbabwe's national interest. There is no national interest, security, and there is no security and prosperity to achieve the overall and specific goals of the project outlined under section 1 and 4 of this document. The outreach data would be gathered through a questionnaire with the following points or questions under 3 parts. We'll have talking points and questions on what Zimbabweans should do to engender a constructive national disposition, promote a positive national spirit of togetherness and common belonging, foster shared values enshrined in the Constitution of Zimbabwe, nurture a broad-based national consensus, cohesion, and a sense of common purpose despite political differences, advance solution finding and solution making as opposed to problem making. You know, these questions at all, they are irrelevant to the people of Zimbabwe. They are irrelevant. There is absolutely no evidence that the people of Zimbabwe do not want to work together. That is why they have been voting for the opposition to take over power, because realizing that ZANU-PF was actually not serious in terms of addressing people's problems. And also it is absurd that 2 gentlemen can come up with this document and say it is in the best interest of the people of Zimbabwe without the people of Zimbabwe actually saying so. This is absurdity at its highest level, I can actually assure you. Part 2 will have talking points and questions on whether respondents support or agree with the national vision for Zimbabwe to attain an upper middle income status by 2030. They understand the vision. They know who will benefit from the vision. They know any country in SADC that has an upper middle income status. They have suggestions on how best to achieve the vision. How do you embrace the people of Zimbabwe in a vision they did not create? Vision 2030 is a vision of ZANU-PF. It's not a vision. We don't know what they had smoked to come with that particular vision. There are no signs that that vision is on track at the moment. It's a Mnangagwa vision. It should not be a problem of Zimbabwe to be asked whether that would be an achievable goal. The Zimbabweans did not create this. Zimbabweans did not make this empty promise. It was made by Mnangagwa. It is the problem of Mnangagwa. It is not the problem of the people of Zimbabwe. I mean, today, so, I mean, this is absurd to the highest level. Part 3 will have the following talking points and questions. Given that every result of the presidential election in Zimbabwe since 1980 has been disputed, some in court and others in the public domain, and yet others in circumstances of violence, what will you say need to be done to address this challenge once and for all? Just imagine being asked this question by a criminal who always steals elections. The problem is with ZANU-PF, which has failed to actually create non-partisan state institutions. That is why you will have an attorney general joining a political process that should involve elected individuals, if ever it was coming from people. Now, you have the Attorney General being involved in this because it is not coming from the people. She is not an elected representative. And I wonder, I'm told she's a lawyer. If she's a lawyer, then, I mean, doesn't this dawn into her mind that what she would be doing is in violation of the Constitution, as well as also she would have actually she goes to Parliament to account, not to give Parliament direction on how it should work. That is it is happening in Zimbabwe, whereby everything is a movie political. There is absolutely nothing that is serious and formal. Now, how do you improve? Next time we will see, I mean, government officials. The next thing is to actually deploy judges to the court to go and make laws. Where have you ever seen this? How does the head of prosecution be in parliament? For what? Discussing policy-related issues. People, I hope this is opening the minds of people. Now, the second question: do you agree with the idea that the winner should take all in elections or in politics in general? If you agree, why do you agree? And if you don't agree with the idea, why don't you agree? Do you agree with the idea that the winner take all in elections? What is the meaning of that? That if someone wins, then all MPs and everything belongs to that person. It has to be really. It's not quite clear what is being written in this. Document, and it gives here. Mnangagwa wants to create nothing less than a dynasty, nothing less than a dynasty, whereby there would be no opposition in the near future if they allow this nonsense. Then, are there any examples of winner takes all in Zimbabwe that you are aware of? What do you think are the advantages and disadvantages? One way to deal with the negative impact of winner takes all elections in Zimbabwe has been the introduction of a hybrid electoral system that combines a first past the post voting method or single member constituency plurality system with a proportional PR system. What do you think about this? Oh, okay, I get it. I get it. All right. What do you think about this system? Has it or has it not worked well for Zimbabwe? Okay. What do you think are the advantages and disadvantages for the country that comes from its hybrid arrangement, combines a first pass, the wrong voting method, or single member constituency plurality system with a PR system? Do you think the winner takes all system applies only to elections? Or would you say it also applies to politics in general and in any other particular way and across political parties? If you think or believe that the winner takes all system applies not only to elections but also to politics in general or in other cases, particularly with or across political parties, what will you say need to be done, if anything, to deal with the challenge? The next question: what and if anything do you think dysfunctional or unhelpful? Sorry, what, if anything, do you find dysfunctional or unhelpful about the governance processes in the country? What, if anything, do you find unhelpful about local and national policy making environments in the country? What do you think is the public service? What are the problems of service delivery, if any, where you live, and who do you think is responsible for those problems and why? What do you think about corruption? And if it were up to you, What will you do to solve the problem of corruption? What problems, if any, do you think economic sanctions imposed by Western countries have caused in Zimbabwe? What do you think needs to be done to deal with economic sanctions once and for all? In your view, if you were to go back in 1980 and restart everything afresh in Zimbabwe, what three things would you do differently and why? I think today I will stop here. We will start next time on page 13. We are almost halfway, almost not even halfway. So this is the document. These are the questions that they will be busy asking the people. I mean, if you were to take this country back to 1980, what would you have done differently? Of course, people may be having answers, but who said that is what is needed at this moment? Is Jonathan Moyo the godfather of the politics of Zimbabwe? Are we accepting that? Is that the reality? So these are the questions. And also, I mean, there is something that someone says about the relationship between Professor Jonathan Moyo as well as Mnangagwa. That's why maybe they were together during the Cholocho Declaration and in all other activities. I don't know what went wrong for them to cross each other's path. But what is commonly clear is that these are two people, two like-minded human beings, very selfish. Thank you very much for watching us. If you are watching us for the very first time, please do remember to press the red or